I said this some years back. It got me in trouble, but it needs to be said again. Sometimes a man will ruin every woman that he comes across because his soulmate is a man. Can I keep it real with y'all? Can I keep it real with y'all? I know it's taboo. Don't talk about it. Let's talk about the fact that some men honestly will ruin every single woman. Not I was in this season of my life. Not when I was younger I didn't know no better. Not I was in survival mode. Not I was this. No, some men will ruin every woman they come across, no matter how amazing she is, no matter how supportive she is, because his soulmate is a man. Like, and I'm not being homophobic or bashing. I'm just keeping it real. A lot of guys are fighting that homosexual demon, and the one who really takes the battle bruises are the women he tries to force himself to be attracted to. There's some guys, honestly, who just they like what they like, and it ain't the vagina that they done signed up for. And so, because you are constantly a reminder of what he cannot have or what he feels like is wrong with him, he gonna take it out on you. I'm not here to tell nobody how they live their life. I'm not here to bash nobody for how they live their life. You live your life. But I am absolutely here to be y'all big brother, call out the truth for what it is, and let you know. Some men will ruin every woman. Now, ain't nobody perfect. I'm not saying if a man does a woman wrong or even a few women wrong, he's just homosexual, he's gay. That's not where we at. I'm not on that bandwagon of if a dude does something you don't like, automatically throw the gay card out there. I don't even like, honestly, gayness being an automatic insult, because some people, like, you know what I'm saying? If that's what you are, you shouldn't feel like you're a butt of everybody's joke. But for the man that likes to use women as a beard, for the man that likes to, again, just leave a wake of broken hearts because honestly, he wants a hard penis. Like, not his, he wants somebody else's. Like, come on, man. Like, wrong is wrong and right is right. I'm not going to spare somebody because they're not living in their truth either. And so, can I keep it all the way real with y'all? Matter of fact, if you've ever, don't say no names, okay? Don't say no names, but if you've ever encountered or personally witnessed or been associated with in some capacity, it could have been your friend, it could have been your sister, it could have been you, a man that was so messed up to a woman, and it turned out the truth was he liked men. He was into men. Put I down in the chat if you can personally testify, because some people gonna look at this, be like, Derek, you just coming at dudes, you all trying to find a way. Y'all, I get all this stuff. I'm like, bro, you can be mad at me for telling the truth all you want to. But if people around the world are vouching for it, this is their experience, they see the exact same thing that I'm seeing, I'm just the messenger. Don't get mad at the messenger. If you're gonna be mad at the truth, do something to change it if it's something wrong with the truth. And what I really want to stress to those of y'all who also, y'all be trying to, bend over backwards. No, he want a man to bend over forward. Y'all, I'm gonna be cynical because that's just my style of speaking. But the truth is, a lot of y'all be trying to do the most, bend over backwards for a man, and it's never enough because he really want a man he can bend over forwards. You can't be cute enough. You can't be sexy enough. You can't smell good enough. He don't want smooth legs. I don't know another way to say it. So all I'm getting at here is stop trying to prove yourself. Stop trying to do all of these backflips for a guy, cross the ocean for somebody who really won't even step over a puddle for you. And the reason is so much deeper. Now, why am I really wanting to go in on this? Because really, there's 3 reasons why a man will ruin every woman that he comes across. I'm just giving y'all one right now. We're going to talk about the other 2 toward the end. So share this. Matter of fact, share this. If you already resonated with something I said so far, hit the share button right now so people on your timeline, they will thank you later, can join in on the rest, because there's 3 reasons a man is really going to ruin every woman that he comes across. The first one, and I want to get this out the way, go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. These dudes be secretly liking boys. Y'all ever notice the guy will have all of this loyalty and camaraderie with his homies, but then treat his girl like, oh man, you're a nuisance. That dude secretly, even if it's not on a sexual level, it may just be on an emotional level. A lot of guys, they're just meant to be with a man. Like that's what they on. Hey, look, I ain't trying to police nobody. I don't believe in that, but hey, look, whatever. What I really don't believe in is having no hope in doing a woman right for any woman and continuing to date women. Now, I ain't perfect. I ain't never been perfect. I ain't never gonna be perfect. No man that I know is perfect, right? But at least if you like women, You have a chance of getting to that point where, okay, now I'm in alignment with a healthy relationship. I can be that contributor. But there's so many women today who are trying their best to change their makeup, lose the weight. And you got all of these podcasts telling y'all, oh, you ain't submissive enough. You don't talk kindly enough to a man. You're not understanding enough. You got too many bodies. You got it enough. It ain't that you got too many bodies. It's that he want what's on the man's body. That's what it really is. When you got a guy who has not just a track record, oh, I've done some women wrong, because I totally believe in a man's ability to evolve. I've had to do that myself. I'm still doing it. Every man that I know and respect is still in a space of, hey, I'm trying to be better. But when you got a man to no end, no matter how well this woman shows up, no matter how aligned they're supposed to be, no matter how long he's willing to take for their foundation, and he just continues to crush woman after woman, on some level, that man hates women. He doesn't even like women. I'm going to tell you what happens before we get to the other two reasons why a man will crush every woman, ruin every woman that he comes across. I'm going to tell you what happens when a man is just honestly not fit for a relationship with a woman right now, but he likes women. He may crush a woman, hurt a woman, right? Out of ignorance, say, oh, it was the woman's fault. And then he go get another woman. He hurt her. At that point, he's going to stop even being in relationships with women. He's going to say, whoa, I need to get me right first. I need to take a break. I need some help. I need to go talk to the lady, because at this point, I'm hurting people I really do like. I'm not ready for a relationship with them. I'm not ready to live in integrity and honesty and monogamy and all these things that I'm signing up for. I'm overestimating my maturity level to be in a relationship with these types of women I'm attracted to. But because I at least like them, I'm not going to keep adding up these souls that I'm crushing. And so what you'll see from a man who does like women, but maybe he does, again, the physical discipline isn't there. The maturity isn't there. The healing isn't there. These types of things, we could speak on that. I've been there myself. All my brothers that I know that are leading thriving marriages, killing it, doing their thing, they've been there. We can work with that. But when a man does not care and he keeps going woman after woman, I'm talking about serious relationships, crushing woman after woman after woman after woman. He's 7, 8 serious relationships in. He done crushed every single woman, left them dang near irreparable, traumatized every single one of them. I'm telling you, that man hates women. And one of the most not talked about, one of the least talked about reasons is the truth, because these dudes, honestly, they be in love with a dude. But because they won't accept themselves, they keep receiving women in and subjecting them to a life, a relationship of not accepting them. And in some shape, form, or fashion, either it's over time where, every little criticism, just like death by a million cuts is what they call it. Something like that. Slowly over time, he just cuts her down until she can take no more. Or he does something to rupture the relationship at some point and jumps onto a new woman. Because in the mind of that man who secretly wants men, again, he's not going to blame himself. She must be the reason. Even if it's 7, 8, 10 women in, this woman right here is also the reason. I'm dissatisfied. Yeah, you ain't going back in time and erasing your sexual history, so therefore you the problem. No, she just can't erase your sexual orientation. And you think it's a problem. I ain't even saying it's a problem. You think it's a problem. So now you want to hurt her. This ain't about a man being perfect or imperfect. I'm not saying that. I don't want y'all to take away from this, because I have a responsibility to be ethical with what I'm conveying. I'm not saying if a man does a woman wrong, he's gay. I'm not saying if he does more than one woman wrong, he's gay. I'm saying if that man seemingly has no conscience, he moved straight on from you, then went and within a month or two, traumatized another woman, then went within another month or two from there, traumatized another woman. He just over and over and over again, serious relationships. He ain't screwing them, having his fun and leaving. No, he's really doing them bad, using them for their money, using them for their house, somehow, some way, just taking them downhill and then moving on to the next one. We always like to go to narcissists. Damn sure got some narcissism in that one. But a lot of times, that man, he just, you know what I'm saying? He's a bottom, a power bottom. So is what it is. Now, let me get to the other two reasons, because that wasn't the only one. Because at the root of it all is a man who honestly just hates women. The next reason why a guy will ruin every woman that he comes across. By the way, again, if you getting value from this at all, don't be selfish. Share it with somebody on your timeline. Hit the share button. Stay on the conversation, though, because we just getting started. It's because of the smear campaign by his daddy. Can I tell y'all something? And we just talked about smear campaigns. We've talked about it before. We always talk about the smear campaign when it comes to the general public. We don't talk enough about how a parent, in an effort to repair their relationship or repair their position in a child's life, they will paint the other parent as being bad. But in retrospect, what does this look like? This looks like a dad that was absent either most of the life or wasn't doing what he's supposed to be doing in a certain span of his life, of that man's life. And then when the boy got of age, say 12, 13, 14, he started connecting with, relating to that man a little bit more. Or maybe the man just came in at some point. He blamed everything on you, the woman, the mom, the one that stayed. A lot of y'all be hearing this slander for single moms, and you're not sure where it's coming from. I'm going to tell y'all. It's coming from a lot of the men that jump back into the child's life later on or try to explain away their own mistakes and bad decisions and unreadiness to be a father, but they use the woman as a scapegoat. What that does is that implants a resentment in that boy against his mom and therefore all women. So that young boy, 12, 13, 14, he just went for whatever his daddy told him. Yeah, your mama wouldn't let me do this. Your mama wouldn't let me see you. Your mama, she told me she had another man and she hated me and she wouldn't let me be good enough for you. And that boy grows up and now he hates women because his caregiver is the foundation. Like the man and the woman that raises a child is the foundation for all that they're going to come across. That's why we know whenever a man treats his daughter well, he sets a high standard. That sets the tone for every little boy that think he's going to come and get her attention. That's why I go so hard for my babies. But the same thing goes vice versa. Even if as a mom, you've done everything you needed to do, or as that man's mama did everything she needed to do, if he got manipulated and gaslit by the father that wanted to clean his own record by throwing the mom under the bus, that man will grow up and have a resentment towards all women. He'll take it out on everybody because at a core level, it's affected him. It's just like, you know, if you're trying to see and you got lenses that's messed up, it ain't everything else is blurry. What you're even trying to see through is now been cracked. It's been broken. So what he sees all women through is going to start with his mom. That's why you got guys that's looking for a mommy figure. He looking for you to be just like his mom. It's through a lens. Now, what's the healthy lens? The healthy lens is when a woman raises that young man up into a certain age. She's going to start connecting and relating to other men, but she's going to continue to be that support and nurturing force, but she's going to allow the relationship to transform. It's going to stay one of respect, but she's not going to allow that boy to become so codependent on her that he's never able to be his own man and see the world for himself. So now, you know, when that man gets older in the healthy context, that romantic partnership takes up space of its own. He has his lens, but it's not dominated by any energy from the mom. There's healthy relationship with mom. There's completely separate and healthy relationship with other women. Now, what happens when you got a mother who didn't do anything wrong but gets painted as the villain by the dad of that boy? He never matures past that point where he needs her to take accountability for something she didn't do. He never gets past that point where she needs to face consequences for something she didn't do. So that resentment doesn't go anywhere. He never gets to forgive her. And if she honestly didn't do anything, and if he doesn't say anything to her, maybe he does, but he don't believe her. She's not going to fess up and say, I was wrong for this. So there's no healing that happens for that boy that turns into a man. Now, what does that look like in the relationships? Every woman going to pay the price for what his daddy convinced him his mama was responsible for. I know this is stuff I typically only share with people in my inner circle, but I'm trying to give y'all a little top level, best I can. If I'm making sense, let me know I'm speaking facts. If you think I'm talking just complete fiction and lies, let me know I'm lying. But what you'll have is a dude that grows up, and these are the guys we see on these podcasts. You know, they empathize with their dad. They took that pain from not having their dad, which should have been directed at the father, but they've now taken it out on every woman, and it started with their mom. It started with their mother. We don't know enough about these dudes that's on here chirping about single mom this, single mom that. Women this, women, and they just always highlighting the absolute worst of women, not for any constructive reason to actually build women up on the other end of that, but simply just to tear down women, humble women. Behind every podcaster or dude that's tearing down women, there's a heartbroken mother that's likely been blamed for something she never did. That's been crucified, that's been distanced from for something she never did. I know typically we strictly talk about relationships, but we got to talk about that because that is a lot of times at the root of men who hate women. Now, don't get it twisted. These are also the exact same guys that will utilize women. They will consume women. They'll run through women, they'll talk to women, they'll keep women around, but they hate women. A lot of men do not like women. They honestly hate y'all. They just love what you provide. They love the physical release. They love the fact that for those of you who are empaths with no boundaries, they love what you don't know about how to protect yourself from them types of guys. The whole time they hate you. I know I'm going to get a little bit dark with this, but I got to say it. It's similar to whenever slavers would make use of their slaves, or enslaved people rather, should I say, but they hated them. It's like they have no respect, no regard, but they're going to get something from them. And so what we see is a lot of these guys constantly around women, running through women, in relationships with women. And the story is always the same. They ruin. Well, deep down, he probably hates that girl. He probably hates women in general. There's no way you continue. Now, again, this ain't to say if a man does something wrong, he's gay, or a man does something wrong, he got daddy issues, mommy, that he might actually, but that's not to say that. But if you get a guy, if you ever looking at your ex, or you ever in a relationship with a guy and you see he got 10 relationships on his resume and all of them he trashed, that wasn't no 20-year season of not being his best self. That wasn't no 20-year season of being too young for a relationship and not being ready. I promise you that. That wasn't what that was. You do have people who get stuck in a toxic pattern. Typically, it's with one or two people. But if there's any type of respect or liking of a person, of a woman, or in general, you'll see that person stop. Because at a certain point, he's disappointing himself. But a man will never get to a point where he's disappointing himself and hurting a woman if he hates women. This making sense to y'all? Tell me yes or no. This making sense? I'm going deeper than what we typically get on social media, because what's hot, what's popping is these quick little sound bites from the podcasters that just want to rile y'all up, antagonize y'all. If you're a successful woman, you're the problem. If you got your own money, you're the problem. If you're over 15 pounds from the body index of what the national average is, you're the problem. If you're outspoken, you're the problem. All these things just to go viral. But these exact same guys that are regurgitating and putting this nonsense out are really masking a lot of deep-seated issues. Either they're gay and they're afraid to live their truth because they reject themselves, they think everybody else is going to reject them, or they've been gaslit to believe their mother was the villain in the story of their abandonment in childhood. Because daddy didn't got a hold of their ear and leveraged the fact that baby boy has always been seeking and desperate for answers as to what happened. Why was daddy not there? And daddy leveraged that to clear himself and then give all of his sins to the mother, not realizing what type of trauma that causes. And I'm not here to say all women are perfect or anything like that. We know vice versa. When a woman does this, it has the exact same type of traumatizing effect. When a woman bashes the dad, especially if he ain't did nothing wrong and all that kind of stuff, how it traumatizes the child. We always talk about that, though. Don't use the children as pawns. It hurts the children. But we never talk about the dads that later on, whenever the boy has some level of competence, that he manipulates that broken-hearted boy and creates a young man who hates women. That's going to ruin every woman for the rest of his life. We never talk about that. Both sides are true. We just only like to tell one part of the story, which leads me, honestly, to the third reason a man will ruin every woman that he comes across. And again, share this if you get anything of value so somebody else on your timeline can, because I feel like this truth isn't out there enough. And that's those internal battles that he's fighting, those demons that he's facing. You see, when you're dealing with people, a lot of y'all don't think spirits is real, demons is real. I'm not here to get super religious. I'm just here to keep it real with you. A lot of people that you come across, they've gotten mixed up in some stuff. They've come into agreement with some stuff, and they fighting all kind of demons. And you think that the way they treat you is a reflection of how they see you. Whole time, they're in battle in here. That's why when guys be, oh, woman need to be my peace, brother, she can't be your peace if you at war with yourself. She can't. This is why I tell my inner circle this. The number one determining factor as to whether or not you can have a healthy relationship with somebody is whether or not they got a healthy relationship with themselves. If they got one of love and peace and acceptance with themselves, that's a good place to go. Don't mean it's guaranteed to work out, but you got a great chance of having a healthy relationship. And if it don't work, you got a great chance of just y'all parting ways, mutually understanding and respecting that it just ain't for y'all. Cool. No trauma, no harm, no foul. But when that man has a relationship of self-hate or avoidance with what he's dealing with, one of those two things are going to come out on you. He's going to, and avoidance looks like neglect for a woman's needs. It looks like dismissing you. It looks like invalidating you. It looks like minimizing everything that you bring to him, even whenever he can clearly see something's wrong. It looks like letting you fight that by yourself. We're not talking about inner battles. We're talking about in life. He became a life partner just to add zero value to your life. That's neglect. More than likely, he avoids any type of discomfort, including the one he has with himself and dealing with what's going on with him. Inner demons, inner battles. And that relationship with himself of avoidance. The second type of toxic relationship that man can have with himself is one of self-hate. He's angry at himself. He's self-critical. He's probably allowed outer voices become inner voices, probably from childhood as well, because that's where it all begins. And he never dealt with that. He never healed that inner narrative, that internal dialogue. So now what that look like? That looks like he's going to see you and he's only going to see the worst of you. Outside of the honeymoon phase or whenever y'all first get together and he's love bombing you. He's going to get to a point where he only sees the things that you do wrong, where you fall short. And y'all, again, everybody falls short. I've done a ton of growth. I've invested so much time, money. I've went through it all publicly, and I'm still growing. You're still growing. Everybody you know is growing if they're trying to anyway. But when you're dealing with somebody who has an unhealthy relationship with themselves, they're only going to see the ways that you're falling short. They're only going to see the ways that you're failing, not there yet, not moving quickly enough. And so what happens with a man like that, again, he will ruin a woman, and it's more so death by a million cuts. It's not typically one big crash. It's typically every little thing that you do wrong, you never do enough. It always feels like the goalpost is moving. It always feels like this carrot is dangling of his abandonment, of him confirming or reiterating something that maybe you even came to believe about you not being good enough, especially if he gets a hold of ways that you've been hurt and taken for granted in the past. Especially if you've made some decisions you're not proud of. Maybe you got 2 or 3 baby daddies and they all trash. Maybe you have let yourself go physically and you ain't got all the way back to what you could be physically. And you see, that's because you so look like this and because you eat like that and because you this, that, you dropped out of college and you never went and got that because you slayed up with that dude again that wasn't taking care of his first child with you. You get these guys and they'll always hold that over your head. That sore spot, that vulnerability of yours. Don't let it be something that happened to you and you just haven't healed from it. A sexual trauma, an abuse, an addiction. They'll look for that thing to leverage, again, because they hate women. And so what they do is they come in and they ruin every woman that they come across because all they're doing from day one. Well, first thing is they thinking I got a love bomber. I got to hook her in. And then from that point forward, they're simply scanning for ways that they can keep you in their grip using your shame. This is why I'm so big on healing shame. This is why I do what I do for my inner circle every single week. Matter of fact, we're going live there tonight, but that's neither here nor there. This is why I do what I do. Because that shame is leverage and it's a weapon in a manipulator or a narcissistic man's hands. Same thing goes vice versa. But when a man ruins every woman that he comes across, it's rarely the woman. Now, I've seen situations where 2 people were not right for each other. They brought out the worst in each other. Neither person was an angel. Neither person was the devil. But they both got really toxic and hurt each other. I've seen that. I've seen when a man was at a certain space in his life, his survival mode kicked in, and honestly, anybody would have gotten hurt. Probably did get hurt. Not just a romantic partner, the children, anybody. I've seen that. None of it's okay now. I'm not saying that. But what I'm getting at here is for y'all not to buy these stories that men are telling you whenever you're seeing a certain pattern persist. Know that it's deeper than whatever it is that they're making excuses for. Know that it goes so much deeper. And whenever it starts to project onto you as criticism, know that he's not criticizing you. This fruit is coming from the tree within. It's not that you're nurturing or deserving or warranting all of the criticisms. Basically put it like this. If you know that you're showing up, you're giving your best, you this, that, and the other, whatever, and he doesn't mention any of the good, he doesn't acknowledge any of the good, he doesn't reciprocate any of the good, all he does is hone in on the bad, the negative, what's horrible about you, what falls short. Again, 3 reasons for those that are just coming in. He's trying to ruin you because, one, more than likely these days, his soulmate is a man. So he's gonna ruin any woman that he comes across. 2, he has a deep-seated hatred for women in general because he has an unresolved resentment for his mother, likely for something that she didn't even do wrong. Could be something that she did wrong now, but likely some unforgiveness there is the lens that he sees all women through, and now he's taking that pain out on every woman that he comes across. It's clashing with his desire to be close with a woman, that lack of healing. Thirdly, because he's fighting those demons inside. That relationship with himself is unhealthy. Therefore, he can only produce an unhealthy relationship. And the way that you know this, again, what will mark it is the criticism. You see, the criticism comes from, it's called a reticular activating system. It's basically like whenever you get say you get a Honda Accord, now you see Honda Accords everywhere. It's basically what our mind will lock in on based on whatever we've established or chosen to focus on internally. Okay. You have guys whose reticular activating system is strictly looking for a woman's flaws. Now, why? More than likely, it's become something that's given them power and control in the past. If he gets the right woman, the woman who doesn't have the self-esteem, the self-worth, the woman who's not tapped into somebody like me that's going to give her the real, he gets that woman, she'll spend an entire relationship, an entire best years of her life trying to right the wrongs that she never should have been righting in the first place, trying to earn this man's favor and acceptance, not knowing who she's dealing with or where his criticism is coming from. Because here's the thing with a lot of y'all, and this especially applies to empaths. Y'all think everybody got the same heart as you. You think that if a criticism comes out your mouth about a person, they're really doing something wrong. And they've had multiple opportunities to fix it. Y'all got to understand, some people will launch these criticisms out just to try to keep you on this hamster wheel of their approval. Just to keep you on the hamster wheel of them saying yay or nay. Okay, that's good enough. Am I speaking to anybody? Am I speaking to anybody? You could think back to times where you've actually done something wrong to somebody, and whatever it may be, and they refuse to give you their forgiveness. A lot of times, them refusing to give you their forgiveness is because they see how deeply you desire to right that wrong, and now it's giving them power. They're not unforgiving because they're so hurt. They're unforgiving because it gives them a sense of power. Now, why is that something that's so important? And why do they need power from that source? Because internally, they've come into agreement with victimhood. That relationship with themselves is toxic first. And it's one of victimhood. Woe is me. Everybody else does me so wrong. Everything about me that's ever been wrong is because somebody else hurt me. And they have a toxic relationship. This is why I say you got to look at the relationship that somebody has with themselves. Assess that. Like before you even go to how they deal with their ex, what relationship do you have with yourself? Am I making sense to anybody? Let me know. So for those of you who are empaths, and when I say empaths, and I don't want to do too much review. If you're in my inner circle, you already know how this goes. Because I did a whole segment strictly on empaths for empaths who are dating. I think it was over 4 hours. The ins and outs. Those of you who are empaths, though, you lead so much with your heart, your optimism, your belief, your faith. You lead with that. And you don't realize that what you're putting out is like blood to sharks. Especially if you ain't got no boundaries with it. Sis, you got to protect yourself. Bro, you got to, like some of y'all are dudes and y'all in this situation. You got to protect yourself, man. And know who you're dealing with out here. Well, so when you first come into a situation and you don't know the relationship they got with themselves, you don't know if they truly even like women. Ladies, I'm talking to y'all right now. You don't know what mommy, daddy issues that they got that's unresolved. Maybe not even the fault of the mommy or daddy in hand, but nonetheless, you're playing a dangerous game. And those who lose this game tend to lose years of their life. I'm going to tell y'all the real dangers of ignoring what I'm saying. You can do what you want to with this information, but at least I'm going to give it to you and give you the power to do what you will. One of the main dangers is losing the most valuable resource that you cannot get back, and that's time. years of your life. You can get back money, you can get back clothes, or you can get back friends that you love. You can get back so many things. You cannot get back your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, where you had so much life to live, but instead you were dealing with somebody not accepting their true colors even when they showed them to you. And you can't get back the time it's going to take for you to recover, seeing them go and give everybody else exactly what you know that you deserve, exactly what you were asking them to give you over and over again, which you had clearly laid out, gave every TED talk, every 6-page letter and text message, and everything else to guide them towards meeting your needs. And all they did was go right out that door to somebody else and deliver what was supposed to be addressed to you. The time that it takes to get over that often will correlate to the time you spend leading up into that end result. Now, how do you fix this? How do you deal with this? And this is why I do what I do. You have to stop being the woman that prepares a man for the next woman. And you have to be the woman that a man knows he better come prepared for, because there's only two types. Whether that man is good, bad, or ugly, healthy, unhealthy, etc., etc. There's two types of women. That woman you don't play about, or that woman that you think that you can play with. And you know you can play with, because she ain't taking herself seriously enough to make the necessary adjustments. Whether it's because she's still getting attention, whether it's because she's just so unhealed, she's just continuing to date from that void and that vulnerability, I don't know. But what I do know is there are very specific steps you as a woman can take today in order to remove yourself from that category of women that prepares a man for the next woman, that wastes the best years of her life. A lot of time you end up wasting your reputation in the process. You end up wasting the opportunity to show your children what a healthy relationship looks like, what a strong, whole version of a woman that's properly loved looks like in their childhood. There's so much at stake. Now, I taught this. I taught exactly how to avoid being a man's internship for free in my webinar, How to Stop Being a Man's Internship. And that's coming down soon. I told y'all I just put up the encore. I only do these webinars 1 or 2 times a year. So if you missed it, I put up the encore. It's right here down in the comments, and it's free. Keep your money. That's free. An hour. I go in about how to not be a man's internship so you can receive your blessing. How you can recognize when a man is stringing you along for them years of your life. How you can recognize when a man is not going to change. This ain't no situation we all imperfect. We all got growth. No, he ain't going to change. How you can recognize those red flags out the gate. He about to waste your time. And if you've already been in that situation, he's already moved on to another woman doing everything for her. You should have gotten done for you. Meanwhile, you're trying to pick up the pieces to your heart. How to navigate that quickly and get back to your best self. Again, that link is pinned in the comments. If you're on YouTube, it's at the top. Facebook is down here in the comments. If you're on Instagram, I type whatever word that says type so you can get access to that right after this. Moral of the story is this. When a man ruins every woman that comes into his life, whether she's on a level of just sex, a serious relationship, etc., he hates women. He hates women. And I got to say this again. Don't look at every man you see that's done something wrong, even if it's been to you, and say, oh, he hates women. No. He definitely had something going on at the time that he did what he did. And I'm speaking from both professional and personal experience. It had nothing to do with you as a woman or the woman that he did wrong. Even whenever, and there's some guys that'll fight me on this, even whenever a man recognizes this woman ain't the one for me, maybe she done disrespected him, whatever. How that looks is him walking away. That's what that looks like. It don't look like him crushing her. It looks like him walking away. If that man is at peace within himself, if he has a healthy relationship with himself, if he has integrity, and sometimes it takes a man getting to a point, and some time to get to his point. But what happens is he says, this is no longer a relationship I can be in, because this is going to bring out the worst version of me. It's going to bring out the worst version of us. Any man who's evolved and evolving understands that old version of him still exists. It can still come forth if he's not wise and discerning about what environments he remains in. That's every man. No man that just becomes this knight in white shining armor through and through and can never do no wrong. The difference is in a man, if he truly cares about a woman, women in general, and he has any level of integrity and conscience about himself, at some point he says, I got to be the problem, even staying in this situation. Ask me how I know. But when that man hates women, he'll keep going from woman to woman to woman to woman to woman, crushing one heart after another, ruining, depleting, deteriorating one soul after another soul. And like I said in the beginning, they can hate me, y'all. They gonna hate me anyway. Now I say share this because, you know, a lot of them ain't gonna really want to share it. So I need some of y'all who getting truth from this and got any truth from this to hit that share button before we get off. One reason why a lot of they don't want to talk about it because they don't want to be accused of being gay. No, it just is what it is. I really don't give a damn. I know me. A lot of guys will hurt every woman they come across, traumatize every woman they come across because honestly, they're in love with men. They love the idea of a man. And they have now blamed the women that they're coming across while coming across them more for being the blockage between what they want, instead of the truth being that you're just not living your truth. You're just not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Then you got daddy issues, and then you just got an unhealthy relationship with himself, demons that he's fighting internally and making you pay the price for it. But it ain't you. I don't care how he criticizes you. I don't care what he points out that's actually something you need to work on, something that you've been through in the past and it ain't all the way resolved. I don't care what it is. No matter how bad you are, that man is not going to crush you if it's not something that's coming from internally within him that he hasn't fixed. Ain't got nothing to do with you, sis. But those are just my thoughts. You know, I'm your big bro. I ain't here to tell you how to live. I'm here to give you the truth. You do with that what you will. And if you want more truth, again, that link down in the comments right there will take you right to it. An hour I went in on how to not be a man's internship. Basically, how to never be another man's internship, period. Prepare him for another woman. And again, if you got some value from this, I just want y'all to do me one favor. Hit the share button so somebody else can too. You'll be surprised who thanks you for sharing that at the time that you hit that share button. Holla at y'all lady. Y'all be good, man. Peace.